If you like what you see, please help me do even more Who Would Win videos by contributing to my Patreon account. Thank you. Welcome to the inaugural movie review from the Pop Culture Pundit channel. On tap as the first movie to reviewed, Captain Marvel. Now, I'm a bit late getting to this review, but some things have been going on in my mystical, magical realm. So I hope you'll bear with me, because I'm going to give you my opinion on whether the movie was good, bad, indifferent, or other. A bit of introduction. Before even going to see the film, there was a lot of controversy that, quite frankly, disturbed me. I was almost put off from seeing it. And since the character was not one of my favorites, having been a long-time comic reader, I didn't hate her, I didn't like the character, it was just meh. I almost didn't even bother to see it, but I am the type to like to see things for myself, and having ultimately seen the film, I'm glad I did, because upon seeing it, the rap about it being too feminist or anti-man or whatever, I just didn't see it. Having been around in the time that the Carol Danvers character, portrayed by Brie Larson, came around, it's quite factual that women, some of the freedoms that the younger generation takes for granted now, was not around at that time. I mean, the women's lib movement wasn't that old. And yes, they did meet a lot of obstacles in their personal life and professional life. And yet, Larson's character, from childhood to adult, whenever she faced adversity, I didn't see any scenes of her going to the equal protection office or something to protest her being mistreated, or seeing her standing on picket lines, or singing "I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar." No, whenever she faced a problem, whether it was joining a sports team that was predominantly men, or entering in vocational, educational arenas that, again, were dominated by men, rather than whine or complain or say, "Woe is me," no matter how many times she got knocked down, she just kept getting right back up and going on to triumph. And that is, I think, a good attitude and something to be emulated by anyone, whether they are male, female, whatever their race, creed, what have you. But I know other people have different views, and that's the right to do so, but I never saw anything untoward or unnecessarily feminist or what have you. I just didn't see it. Now, as far as the film, rather than a paint-by-numbers origin story, which most films, introducing a hero do, you're thrown right into the action from the very beginning. You see this woman as part of a neo-military force belonging to a race called the Kree, and you're shoved right into battle immediately as they take on apparently their ancient enemies, the Skrull, green-skinned shapeshifters and long-time Marvel villains, for those who, of course, are familiar with the comic. The battle with the Skrull initially takes her to what she calls a rhymes with hit hole, planet Earth. It is there that she continues her battle with the Skrulls, and she eventually encounters a young Nick Fury, of course still played by Samuel L. Jackson, and a young Agent Coulson, portrayed by Clark Gregg. They have a unexpected, potent rapport, Larson and Jackson, which is very pleasing to see, and it becomes a sort of an ersatz buddy film as they pursue the villainous Skrull. Except alliances and who's really the villains and really the heroes. A lot of twists and turns happen in the film that are quite exciting and holds your interest immediately. Now, because I don't like to give spoilers, I'm trying to be somewhat vague and not going to specifics, because if you haven't seen the film, there's a lot of exciting parts that should be a surprise. But I will mention that what took this apparently Earth woman into being a Cree soldier with blue, not red blood. Is quite the interesting, exciting story, and it awaits you if you go see the film. The film had it all. It had pathos, it had action, it had humor. Some of the humor was brought upon a cat that Jackson and Larson encounter. That's all I'll say about it if you haven't seen it, but keep your eye on that cat. There's a reason it's a fan favorite, and you'll be very happy that you kept your attention on it. There's a touching and interesting part when Larson, who was away from the earth for quite a while, returns, as mentioned before, in her battle with the Skrull, and she runs into her best friend and fellow aspiring pilot, Maria Rambeau, played by Lashana Lynch. They reconnect, reunite, and they discuss what has been going on the last few years. Potentially very important characters introduced. One that we hope to see in the future, especially if you're a longtime Marvel fan and you recognize the name. And that is Monica Rambeau, played by Akira Akbar, I hope I pronounced that correctly, who is Maria's young daughter. Longtime fans recognize that name, Monica Rambeau, and let's just say that by the time the new adventures of Captain Marvel and our modern time comes around, that's just old enough for Monica to be an adult. And who knows, she might be doing some avenging of her own in the near future. As I said, no spoilers, so I will simply say that if you like a movie that gives you action, adventure, pathos, humor, basically everything you want in a movie that would hold your interest for a couple hours or so, absolutely go to see Captain Marvel. And one more thing, as always, please stay for the credits, because there's a scene that the audience, and rightfully so, cheered for, that gives you hope. Will be a big help in hopefully setting things right in the upcoming Avengers movie, Avengers Endgame. Well, that wasn't so scary. This is the end of my first movie review. Hope you enjoyed it. So until the next video, so long for now. Before you go, check out this clip from the KFDC channel. Then go there and watch the full videos to your enjoyment now. I rule. I rule. I rule, and the YouTube stars just drool. I rule. I rule. I rule. I rule, and the YouTube stars just drool. I rule. I rule. I rule. I rule. I rule. I rule.